Hey, Suji. Welcome to the Defiant podcast. It's great to have you here.
Pleasure, and great to talk to you again.
Yeah, so Suji Yan is the founder of Mask Network, one of the earliest SocialFi or Web3 social apps. These past few months have been super busy in the SocialFi space, so I'm really excited to hear your perspective about it. But would love to just start with Mask Network. If you can, tell us the founding story and what it's all about.
Yeah. So I jumped in the general crypto or decentralized web around 2015, 2016 when I was learning at the college. And, one of my professor and all my friends are really into decentralized web and cryptography in general. And some of them become famous founders, famous professors, right? And that's why, I got connected. I started bought Bitcoin myself.
Where were you studying?
Oh, yeah. I was at the UFI, Illinois. Urban Champaign. A lot of people was from UFI, like Solana and jump trading and, all the Zcash was, like this big public school. I was buying Bitcoin as a hobby. But very interestingly, that I have another very long-term belief, long-term hobby and long-term I believe that's still like doing something related right now as a hobby, as a part-time thing. I was an independent journalist and I wrote a lot of report about geopolitics, about human rights, about activists, and how hacker doing activists, so-called hacktivists. I wrote a lot about these. I even regard myself as part of those larger hacktivist or activist community. Yeah, so I was deeply connected to that community, and that community talks a lot about social network, right? Everyone care about media, social network, publication, and everyone talks about it. And I was the one promoting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrency technology within that community. And over the years, I realized, okay, maybe I should do something because, right now people talk about decentralized social a lot. But in 2021, almost no one. And in 2017, 2016, obviously there's nearly zero conversation. There's nearly near zero conversation about decentralized social network. There's some conversation about we should run away from Facebook, Twitter, but there's not really a systematic way how we do that. So I started to think about I should do something. And ends up I dropped off from college. I dropped off from the UFI. I got some friends, from different background, and later up we gathered together to form a team, and eventually we form a project, we form a company, we raise some money, and we put my own money in, and we decided to do something about decentralized social network. That was pretty early, 2017, and we got the idea in 2016. Yeah, that's almost 10 years ago, 8 years now. Yeah.
And that was already Mask Network, or was it first some other iteration of it that then turned into Mask?
Yeah, the first few version we want to do something on top of Facebook, and then we found out first it's very hard. I think Facebook, the user of Facebook, the generation is not our generation. It's like the boomer, right? The real boomer, and they don't really care about this thing that much. Not only crypto, but also if you talk about free speech and encryption, privacy. Yeah, people do talk a lot about, but it's not really as we care. And then we realized a lot of conversation was happening on Twitter. And then we decided to move not only on Facebook, but also whatever platform we can support, Twitter, eventually all the other alternative social platform, and even support IDs from Reddit. That's why we changed the name into Mask Network, try to be more general, and also mask. You can just put a mask on your internet identity, right? So you have encryption power, you have anonymity, and you have censorship resistant. That's why we named it Mask Network. We changed name in around 2018, 2019. Yeah. But originally we had the idea in 2017. Yeah.
Would love to for you to explain a bit more about how Mask Network works? Like, what's the experience like?
Yeah, I mean, the bigger belief we have, like I mean, the first thing is that definitely everyone should deserve the free of speech and the ownership of data. That's been talked a lot, right? Everyone agreed with that, and we agree that we should have like encryption, anti-censorship. But the road ahead is kind of different. Like we think very differently than other projects, even back in the days. Like we think, okay, your grandma, your granddad, like my mom, my dad will not ever give up the traditional Web2 social network. And even like my generation, they use some alternative social network. Like if you're in crypto, you use crypto social network, but you're still like largely stick there because the network effect, because the user were there, right? So that's why we think, okay, we will support a lot of decentralized social network, new generation protocols. That's fine, but we can also create a bridge that eventually able to bridge the Web2 content and Web2 identities and Web2 features on top of the Web3 world. We'll blend them together in a very unique way. So that's the unique ideology of us. So that's why we use the name Mask. And the first product, like the first working product out of demo was the browser extension. Like 5 years ago, people don't use mobile on crypto, right? They're like, if you're an OG, you definitely only use MetaMask. You use like only MetaMask and now some other extension wallet. And you use Chrome and use like all these DApp website, which is very, very bad UI UX, but it's very cool and very geeky. So these type of people, we want to attract them. Say, hey, keep using Twitter, keep using Facebook or whatever platform, but your data will be also simultaneously synchronized into a decentralized network. When you post something, when you add a friend, this will also be on the decentralized social network. And we don't care what is the other decentralized social network you're using because they're going to be blended. They're going to be all in one. So we launched the browser extension and we managed to do a lot of cool campaigns. That was before the DeFi summer. So again, very few people use DeFi because like people just don't really use wallet at that time. I remember it's 2020. It's 2020 before the Lunar New Year. That's like 2020 January, 20 February during the Lunar New Year. It's also before COVID. Everyone's still very happy, like enjoying their Lunar New Year and having foods. We had a partnership with the MakerDAO, with the DAI stablecoin. And I checked the address on chain. There's only 5,000 DAI holder on the whole Ethereum blockchain. So which means there's less than 5,000 people in the whole world that hold that stable coin. And we did a campaign of Red Pocket. If you're familiar with the Asian culture, that people just give random Red Pocket to friends and family, like or whatever, during the Lunar New Year. And then we just did that on chain. And again, it's no censorship. You can do peer-to-peer payment. And the funny thing is, like, it happened on Twitter. It doesn't happen on another social network. It doesn't happen to say, hey, can you register in that social network and call your friend to follow you? No, it's happened on Twitter. And we just do all the things. We're also very lucky that we're talking with Vitalik and other Ethereum OG that time. And some of them are, they just like, they're digital nomad. They live in Asia. They just travel all over the world. And some of them like, oh my God, this is cool. We want to just do that again as well. So Vitalik joined and he sent over his Red Pocket on Twitter using the Mask extension as well.
Oh, nice.
And I remember there's another Ethereum co-founder, Michal. He's also very early at the Bitcoin magazine. He also donated us in the Gitcoin. That time Gitcoin was also quite small. Like, not really a lot of people use Gitcoin, and he just generously donated to us. So we keep running and when just tell everyone the idea that we're going to bring everything on Twitter or Web2, and eventually that become a decentralized web. And then gradually we have more fans, we have more supporters. And in 2021, we launched the token, the Mask token. That's like the first part of the Mask story from 2017 to 2021. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the idea is that you want to bridge Web2 social media to Web3 using an extension, a browser extension that allows people to continue using, say, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. But the data that, say, I don't know, like if they post something, if they make a connection, all that information is stored on chain on Ethereum?
Not really on Ethereum. It's too expensive. Like it's gonna be like either in peer to peer or like decentralized storage layer that we partner with, like Arweave and Filecoin. Like more specifically, like if I follow Defiant, that Twitter account, and then ends up like Defiant may have a ENS, right? Defiant.eth or something like that. And maybe you write a blog on Mira or Paragraph or like Lens, or you just write a blog, maybe just use like IPFS, maybe use like blog.define.eth.xyz, maybe use that as a domain, right? And that following relationship will automatically mapping that I will know that you write a blog, even though I just follow you on Twitter. So that's abstracting away the social graph of Twitter and Facebook and WeChat and whatever you're using. But I mean, we started with Twitter because that was easier. And that was like quite, we get really quite friendly feedback from that time, like someone from Twitter, the Twitter team. Yeah, that's how we started, and we keep evolving. And now people are using different platforms, different alternative social network. And the thing is, like, you cannot connect your own identity, the Web3 one to Web2 one. So we did a lot of things on top of that. And after 2021, as I mentioned, we launched Token. We eventually evolved into different units and different products under the same umbrella. This mobile version that's similar to the Max that time. It's like Firefly.social. It's all-in-one social aggregator. And we have a DID protocol, a DID SaaS, that's for free to everyone. It's called api.web3.bio. So if I type in Suji and .eth, you can find my Twitter. You can find my different social accounts. You can even find my GitHub. So we kind of like split the product, like everyone can use certain part of it. If you're a developer, you can use the social graph, you can use the DID mapping. If you are just only a consumer and don't use PC, we have a mobile version for you.
In this mobile version, you're aggregating all of the different Web3 applications. Like that's the use case that you're solving for.
Every meaningful content. So if you follow a friend on Twitter, you're not really actually following a Twitter account. You're following a friend. I mean, the thing you care is your friend, right? It's the content your friend produce or the content your friends see and repost. So on Firefly, if I follow you on Twitter, I also see what other NFT you're acquiring. You're trading, your DJ maybe trading NFT, or maybe you just don't like this NFT, you give to a friend. I will also see like what other blog you're writing about. Like you're writing about like, oh, I learned a new skill. I write a new smart contract and this is how it works. You write a blog on Mira, on whatever Paragraph, we just merged with Mira. And you write on like, if you're like Asian language speaker, you write on matters.news. If you're like, Japanese, there's our different platforms, but they all use IPFS and Ethereum compatible signature. So we can able to figure that out and render that for you. So you're like, oh, my friend on Twitter just wrote a blog on some IPFS platform. And also, if you're like on Lens for Caster, you don't need to really follow them again. You don't need to have their account to interact with them, because you're going to be able to see that your following relationship will be mapping to that platform. While we're considering about the other things, like we have a different small team learning Nostr, which is different because it's Bitcoin related. It's more about Bitcoin, but again, it's the same cryptography, right? It's even the same BIP, like why bother just we support Ethereum, not the other. So yeah, maybe in upcoming days, like if I have a friend only post on Nostr and also on Twitter, it can map together, and I will know, oh, my friend just posted on Nostr. Should I reply or like? Yeah, we did all the things, and eventually, I believe it will be like, how do you say, like email? Think about this, like like Google and Microsoft are not friends. And Apple definitely is not friends as well. But like through the email, I can talk to different email account operators. There's different spam system. There's different AI systems. Some email is more smart. Some email is like more dumb, and they just delete my email, accidentally. But it's able to talk to each other. Right now, the problem is like first, the Web2, they can't talk to each other, right? You can't talk between Twitter and Facebook. And okay, we abstract away the social graph. So I know Defiant on Facebook is also Defiant on Twitter. Suji on Instagram is also Suji on Twitter. But then we cannot talk because there's no communication channel. Then we see there's many people doing communication channel, Lens, Forecaster, Noster, Blue Sky, Mastodon. Then we figure out, oh my God, these or 5, 6 protocols on Web3 or so-claimed decentralized web, they're not even talking to each other. So we have to glue them. You see what I mean? Like you have to glue them. Because in the end, people don't really care. People are like, oh, I really like Apple products, so I only use iCloud email. But you guys are like a Google fan, so but our email can talk to the others. That's the end goal. That eventually one day when my friends jump in using Firefly or Max Extension, or Firefly is easier for a tel consumer. They don't need to think about like, oh my God, this is Solana guy, Bitcoin guy, Ethereum guy, or non-crypto guy, no. Or even PGP guy, no. You just need to know that's a guy you used to on Twitter. Now he have a lot of other articles and contents. I want to interact. And we've been able to glue it and able to route the data and somehow you see it. And keep more decentralized as we can, as decentralized as we can, as distributed system as we can. There's some pinpoint that maybe we need to use some, semi-centralized service, but our goal is to keep it as user experience, as good UX as we can, and as decentralized as we can. That people don't need to think about like what is underlying. Yeah.
Today's podcast sponsor is Carpet Key. Carpet Key is defining the standard in non-custodial on-chain asset management infrastructure. Carpet Key delivers financial solutions to leading DAOs, fostering the growth of the members of their DeFi treasury network, which already exceeds $2.6 billion in assets. Carpet Key creates robustness for the DeFi ecosystem as a whole, and they always do it the right way. Learn more at carpetkey.com. I really like this vision of somebody just following an individual or a project or, a company, and then seeing their content no matter where they are creating or posting. I think that's really smart. But how are you able to map, that the Defiant on Twitter has this like a certain account on Farcaster on Twitter or like Instagram or Lens or like wherever the Defiant may be? Like how can you make sure that you're getting the right accounts across all of these different platforms?
It's not weird mapping it. It's that the user already did it. Just they didn't notice that. Like one example is like I maybe have a favorite NFT, like a cyber monkey, a punk, whatever. And I mean, Twitter deleted functionality now, but like back in the days, they have this Twitter blue PFP, right? So you might link it already. You might link it and you cryptographically prove it. You don't need to have a Twitter API to access the data because you sign a signature and there's some Twitter OAuth behind it. And everyone see that will know unless you transfer this punk to other ones. Otherwise, you're the holder that time, right? And then blockchain data is open, so you can figure out what exactly time that you hold this NFT and what exactly is your Ethereum address. And then you might just jump into Lens, so you have a Lens handle. That's time like we know you interact with the Lens smart contract, and we know we can able to match to you. And when we log into Firefly, we can able to show that to you. And if you don't like it, you say, hey, okay, I just accidentally do that. I'm actually I'm transferring out this punk to other people, so you can delete it. And while you delete it, there's another cryptographic proof, right? I think similar to we learned a lot from Keybase. Keybase was around 2014 that time, 2017, and they sold to them. It was like it's like an encrypted social network, but it's not decentralized. It's quite centralized, and without backend, it's going to broke. But we learn a lot, and we try to make it more decentralized, more compatible with different things. So yeah, the user already link it somewhere. They don't realize it, and by our estimation, I think there's around like 500,000 to 1 million users already linked data somewhere in the past few years, in the past 3 years, past 4 years. That's already a big enough number to make different things, to make very different products and very different user experience, and even can be better than Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Because think this way, like your data, your identity will naturally follow with the cryptographic key, with the crypto key, with the Ethereum key, with the Solana key, and you're able to sign something, and you're able to do many things on top, right? And your data is like, some of data is like open, some of data is like encrypted. You can have different alternative algorithms. That's something we can provide as well. So my estimation is right now there's only 500,000 to 1 million users. Safe to say only 500,000 real people ever connected their Twitter to different cryptographic keys. But in a few years, it will be a lot. And their friends will be onboarded by them, right? There's this 500,000 users, including Vitalik, including CZ, including Coinbase, core team. And if I remember correctly, Vitalik have around 5 to 6 million followers, and CZ have even more, like 6 million followers. So yeah, over the years, these guys going to be onboarding. And again, when they onboarding, they don't need to register a new thing in the Mask ecosystem. They just bring their Twitter here. Boom, that's finished. That's what we want to do. Yeah.
So the idea is that people will be able to just follow individuals and see all of their aggregated content that they post elsewhere. So is your idea that people will use different social media platforms, and then Mask will be a way to aggregate content? Or do you view Mask as like a destination for creating content as well?
I think just like, honestly, people just don't need another 10 Twitter. They just need the original Twitter without censorship, or without like political argument that they can escape, or without someone they don't want to see, or without someone they love and getting abandoned or deplatformized. Different people have different ideology about what is an ideal Twitter, but everyone is trying to replicate Twitter or Instagram or even YouTube or even TikTok. We already have the best product out there. The only problem is about their data ownership, and there's key ownership, and there's all different like social graph ownership. The thing we're doing is, we start with Twitter. We're still digging on the Twitter thing, that you can bring your Twitter data here. Boom, we turn this thing as Twitter, the same as Twitter, but it's more decentralized, it's more robust, and you can even still using Twitter. So when you compose, your content, it goes to Twitter, it goes to Farcaster, Lens, whatever platform. If you're writing a long article, you can post on IPFS, like Arweave as well. It doesn't matter. What really matters is the connection relationship. It's the connection relationship from Web2. Because that used to be in the war garden, and we bring it out. We're the one break the war garden and someone bring it out. So that's the unique functionalities and unique ideologies we have. And over the years, if you don't like our UI UX, you say, hey, I love the functionality of Max or Firefly, and love your API, but I don't like I don't like the way you write the software. I don't like the color. You're free to just write something on top of it, because that time there'll be enough people have bring out their social connection and social graph from the Web2 work garden. While on the other side right now, if you don't have us, if you look into Lens, which again we are supporting Lens, we are shareholder of Lens. They have around 350K address that have Lens handle, if I remember correctly. If you look into Farcaster, which we are also supporting the protocol on our apps, it's around the same number, 365 or 370K. And then you think about, that's a pretty small number. Like, what's the meaningful number that we have as a social graph, or something like with mass adoption? People always say mass adoption. you're going to find friend tech. You're going to find friend tech is probably the only one that able to reach over roughly 1 million. And then you just stick into this Twitter account, you're going to figure out these are the spots. So that's really painful. Because that's really painful because the social connection, the social graph, your social credit and assets are in a walled garden. And you basically just ask everyone, say, hey, do you want to liberate yourself? And just come out. And they come out without wearing their clothes. They come out without bringing their friends. And that's what happened. That's what, in my opinion, is what happened on Lens Infocaster. The cool guys, the nerdy guys, the geeks, come out. Yeah, they come out. And the friends are left in the walled garden. The mass try to do is like, you can come out, but your friends also going to somehow partially go with you. And the more you guys come out, the more the social graph will going to be replicated in another dimension, which again is going to be decentralized store. It's very robust. That's why I think a lot of OG love us because they know like over the past 10 years, even though we shot a lot, we promote a lot about Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just more community. Yeah, there's real world outside. People don't understand what's going on.
CK Verify is revolutionizing how proofs are verified, making Web3 networks faster and more efficient. At its core is a modular system designed to decouple proof verification from execution and settlement layers, offloading the heavy lifting of proof verification to a separate network. CK Verify cuts down the associated cost by over 90%, offering huge savings and a more robust network performance for Web3 networks, and it is live on testnet. Visit their website today to learn more. How many users are on Mask right now?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and I have a very interesting answer. So remember, we launched that in 2017, and 2021 we launched token, and we decentralized the governance. So I think the extension roughly have 100K to 200K user, and the weekly active users around like 50K to 65K ish. That's weekly active user, and the total number in store is around 200K, 300K ish. That's again very close to you see on Lens Infocaster because that's the only number of people gonna wake up. Okay, that's the only number of people gonna wake up. If you say, hey, I have 3 million users that wake up and able to use Ethereum by them I really doubt the numbers. But we also did many things interestingly that we think many other decentralized protocols or DAO they just reluctant of doing or they just refuse to do. And we just dig hard and did all this stuff. The first thing we did is we did a lot of like nonprofit donation, and we're able to just think outside of the crypto box. We are running a lot of the instance, which are nodes of Mastodon, and Mastodon is decentralized, but it's not crypto. It's not really cryptographic. It's decentralized, federated. You can use cryptography inside, but there's no cryptocurrency embedded. There's no chain. We are one of the largest donor of Mastodon, and their community is not really that crypto native, but it's fine. We love them because again, the purpose is to bring people to decentralized social, and we run 3 pretty large nodes: Pau, Mastodon, Japan, Mastodon Social. We somehow some of them we get acquired, some of them they just can't afford it as NGO, so we keep donating money. These instance and nodes have super large user numbers right now. I believe it's around 2 million users. That's already a huge number. Like that's the people who already wake up, but just they don't wake up in a way that Bitcoin OG and Ethereum OG think about, right? It's like, oh, I wake up, I just don't use cryptocurrency, but I know encryption, I know decentralization. So yeah, Mastodon users, that's a group, right? Another thing we do is when we able to launch token, we were able to luckily raise a lot of money. That time was in Ethereum, and we accumulate ETH. We're able to manage the treasury.
How much did you raise?
Yeah, I think over the past years, over 2017 to 2021, we're able to raise around 55 million, and a lot of them are from the community. Not really specifically one VC, and we only raised around 5 million from VC, 5.5 million from VC. And these community raise money. We manage it quite, carefully, because we know it's like, people trust us. That's why they have this money here. We're able to initiate different things, nonprofit donation, and acquire necessary and help necessary open source protocols, even though they're not really super cryptocurrency related, but we see the value there. That's why we got those 2 million users there. We also start a venture arm that, little bit like the Tencent model, a little bit like the Facebook model, but we want to do it way better and way more transparent and way more decentralized. I'll give you an example. First, the WeChat founder. Everyone talk about WeChat and Tencent. The WeChat founder is actually acquired by Tencent. He doesn't really work for Tencent from the beginning. He just create a email solution, Foxmail, and acquired by Tencent. And over the years, he incubated WeChat within the company. If you look into Facebook, besides the original Facebook app, Instagram, WhatsApp, the VR thing, or the things like metaverse things, are acquired by Facebook, by Zuckerberg. The beautiful part is, they persuade the young generation engineer talent join. The ugly part is centralized. The moment they acquire these guys, and somehow all the data become centralized, so somehow everyone loses their privacy. We want to just keep the good part and abandon the ugly part. The good part is when we launch the venture arm, when we launch the DAO venture, that we are still have a lot of control of it. And not say we as a company, and we see we as a DAO, we as a decentralized community have a lot of control over it. Soon you're probably going to see more news. We just launched the staking news. That's something we invest. Going to be maybe we're just going to redistribute to the community if they're able to join the other community. We're going to redistribute some of the token to our community. It's like the staking program, but it's more about the ideology that we want to support other things that is also open-minded, that's open sourced, and have the similar ideologies that use our capital and keep their talent, and we work together. One example will be there's some example in the Lens ecosystem. We're investor of Orb, which is an app on Lens. We're investor of Interface.social. Well, that's not really on any social protocol, but it's really cool that you can check, you can watch other people's address. I can just check in Suji and .eth and follow the address. You can see my NFT transaction. We are one of the first investors. We if you remember around 2021, Jack Dorsey he sold his first tweet as an NFT, and that time was really a hot topic, and we are one of the investors of that company as well. We don't invest to control. We don't really donate to control. We're more like, we're just lucky that we are in this position, that we're super early about decentralized social network. And no matter you like Ethereum or Bitcoin or Solana, or just completely don't like cryptocurrency, or you're just more like, federated database guy, is fine. We help and donate and invest. So that's the third arm, that besides all these interesting softwares we're developing, interesting solutions we have, we don't know what is, the next to come. We don't know what's the best solutions. My idea is my feedback to all these founders and young talents, oh my God, what we did is pretty not good. If you just try to talk to your grandma, just try to say, hey, come into Firefly or Mask or Ficaster or Lens, they're not going to come for something we don't know. So it's your guys' responsibility to figure out what's going on. And we're happy to provide your experience and capital and guidance if necessary. And we're not really like any typical VC. So that's the third arm. I think we did quite clearly that we still have majority of saying, but we're able to leverage other financial institutions. They care about returns. Yeah, that's fine. But we keep our ideology there. Yeah. So these guys have a lot of users. And then they're not part of Mask, but they're also our ecosystem. Really cool. So I have a very interesting answer to you. Yeah, our OG things have around 200K users. And again, I think any OG cryptography social network will not able to have 300K, 400K, 500K real users, because that's how many real users on Twitter really understand crypto. If you say you have 2 million, it's fake. But we are also lucky that we support the Web 2.5 solutions, and we invest and we incubate new things one by one. And there's a lot of things ongoing. And, combine them together, it's a few million already. And we're looking for the 10 million one to come out. I think it will be next one. Yeah.
You obviously have a real, privileged view of SocialFi, Web3 social, after building Mask for 10 years and investing in all these different SocialFi or decentralized social, even if it's not blockchain projects. So what are some of the takeaways have you seen? Like what things work, what doesn't, in terms of bringing people from traditional walled garden Web2 social media to a more decentralized social? Like what are the problems that people are wanting to solve? Like what's making what are kind of some of the successful strategies that are prompting people to make that jump?
I mean, first of all, don't try to teach everyone to use a wallet. That's impossible. I mean, just think about a lot of people don't have bank account, but they have social account. Think about China, that my grandma may not really use their bank account anymore, but they just DAU on WeChat. So if you think of wallet, it's just like the Ethereum wallet, Bitcoin wallet, and even though you think it's a DID, the social norm wallet is not. It's impossible to just tell everyone to have a wallet and have remember 12 words or 24 words. So we should use something like email, and then people are going to argue, say, "Oh, email is centralized, so we probably use MPC wallet." And again, you saw Vitalik's recent article that MPC is also centralized, quite risky. Then people are switching to AA wallet, account extraction wallet, right? So it's different layer solutions. EOA wallet and those 12 words, 24 words, or private key in your phone. That is the approach of Nostr, Farcaster, Lens. They are doing this approach. There's another approach of Mastodon, Blue Sky. They're just asking people to use email. I just very sad to not see anyone combine them together, because it's very easy. You just need an MPC wallet or a similar setup, an email account can match to an MPC wallet, and then simultaneously you have a social account. And then if you care about security, we can automatically generate you an AA account, account abstraction on layer 2. This is very easy. And we've been investing a lot, not only money, but resources, engineer, doing open source on this, but we don't see anyone really care enough to really do a lot of things. I see the reason, because most of the MPC provider and A provider, they're SaaS providers. And when I tell them, if I want, I can bring 2 million users from Mastodon or Blue Sky ready ecosystem to use your wallet, they're going to say, "Oh, how much do you want to pay?" I'm like, no, they're not going to pay because they're just new to crypto. They're not new to Web3. They're not going to pay. So I understand why there's a huge gap. People just try to do the wrong thing again and again, try to let people use the wallet. So yeah, I think through the Defiant podcast, maybe we should do a call that, everyone should talk to each other. Every decentralized social protocol should talk to each other and figure out a solution to onboard. That's one thing. I think the second thing is people underestimated the bot problem, the spam problem, the scam problem. I have a lot of Twitter accounts personally. I'm super addicted to social network. That's why I'm doing social network. I have over 20 real accounts on Twitter for different purposes. Some for following friends, some for secretly following some friends, or some for following celebrities and shit posts. I saw different bots. I saw different scams. My crypto account always saw the MetaMask scams, and my following celebrities accounts have other scams on Instagram. There's always different scams, different bots, and different level of scams. And again, the scam providers, the bot providers, and the hackers, the wrongdoing hackers, they're not using AI. They're not using ChatGPT, OpenAI to train their bots to act more like human. And they're not really dumb anymore. They can do amazing feedbacks to you and then just click the link and lose some money. But on the other side, if you really look into the anti-spam crypto or anti-scam or anti-bot crypto alliance, you don't see that much things out there, right? I think there's several reasons. Again, first, I think we just generally not really think outside the box of crypto. If we talk about AI, people always talk about like, Defiant, decentralized Defiant with your graphic card, and you can pay your token to use your graphic card. Well, that's the use of AI, obviously, but okay, how can we not use AI to fight against those crypto scams? It's very easy. Second is, I know a lot of projects, they don't want to do that because when they do that, they will figure out that, over my 350K users, like more than half of them are spams and scams and bots. I can give you an example. I'm open to say that right now because like Mira is acquired with Paragraph, the two team combined. We run some AI things on Mira. We didn't run that on purposely because Mira's articles stored on Arweave and IPFS, mostly Arweave. And we have partnership with Arweave Foundation. So we have nodes. We run the modern LLM, large language model on these Arweave data. And we found out very interesting things. More than 55% of Mira's articles are written in Chinese. And again, simplified Chinese, not even traditional Chinese. And again, China have the fire word. Like, I'm really wondering, like, oh my God, are you guys really using VPN to just access this Mira website and writing blogs? And then we run more LLM, and we figure out a lot of them are fake. So,
oh really?
Then I can say like more than 25% to 35% of Mira articles and are fake, are generated by bots. And you're not gonna say that out if you're raising money. If you're trying to pitch, the exchange, let's say, oh my God, a lot of my users are bots, but they're also valuable like bots because they have a lot of money on the gas fee. Even though they say that, people just going to feel it's weird. I think we need to break out this, and it's an elephant in the room.
Why do you think bots are writing mirror posts in Chinese?
Yeah, because that's enough Chinese data that's not in OpenAI. If you want to let the large language model of OpenAI doing Chinese writing and anti-spam scam, it's pretty hard because again, it's not enough Chinese language data. Because due to the existence of fire word.
So it's harder to get caught?
Yeah, it's harder to get caught because it's harder to tell whether it's a bot or not from the LLM perspective.
But these bots are they like scams? Are they like phishing attacks, or like what's behind them?
I think they try to farm the airdrop, but there's no airdrop. They try to do that, and again, there's a lot of Asian language data that's not part of OpenAI because the large language model, when they training it, is mainly using like Western language like English, and even like Spanish, all these things. Definitely not using a lot of Chinese because again, within the file word and even Japanese is very non-digitalized. Even Korean is non-digitalized. If you went to Korea, they're not going to use Google Map. They use their own things. So these Asian language, when you put in LLM, determine whether it's a bot, the OpenAI maybe say it's not a bot. And if I ask a social founder, a Web3 social founder, how can you determine whether your friends and your accounts on social network are bots or not? They can instantly say, I'm going to use AI, machine learning, whatever. And I was asking them, do you know actually Line and Kakao? Line is largest social network in Japan. Kakao is largest social network in Korea. Do you know they have their own AI model? Have you ever used them? If you trust Google, then you're wrong. They're like, what? We know what I mean. So we need to figure out this big elephant in the room. Okay, there's a lot of content are AI generated. It's not really shameful to say that. We're experiencing that because crypto is moving very fast. Decentralized social is moving very fast. AI is also moving very fast. We're interacting with each other. We're in the intersection that a lot of these contents are generated by AI. It's fine. I think eventually we might just follow AI. We might just have AI girlfriend, boyfriend. That's fine. But it's not shameful to say that. I think it's quite painful that I see a lot of those decentralized social projects. They just try to say, "Hey, we have this much DAU, WAU." No, it's not real. And again,
Right.
the data is all open. If you run this data through all different of large language model, not only the American ones, but Japanese, Korean, Chinese one, and other like Western ones, you're gonna figure out a lot of them are bots. Yeah, it's very easy to do
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
So two important problems that you're seeing right now with SocialFi are the onboarding, which is most of them are using EOA
Wallet.
wallets,
Yeah.
and that's painful for most non-crypto natives. So what you propose is linking email account with account abstraction wallets, but hopefully there can be a way that you can do it without using a SaaS, so it's not so expensive to do that. So that's kind of a roadblock to solve. And then the second big problem you're seeing is bots, just how these social networks are overrun by bots and AI content that's inflating numbers and giving maybe a deceptive view of how much activity there actually is.
Yeah, it's a deceptive. Yes, it's a deceptive and over optimistic view of how many achievement we have. No, it's not, and we have to admit that we did okay. The decentralized social community did okay, but we did quite poorly. That compared to Facebook or Twitter, WeChat or TikTok, it's just so tiny. And we need to really fix we need to really fix the problem and learn whatever language or learn whatever technology you need to, because you're facing a global audience without censorship. That's very hard. That's very important. Yeah.
So what's missing is just, being realistic about these problems and facing them head on. And I guess making onboarding and user experience even better, like even more streamlined than it actually is. So it can be 10 times better than Twitter or, any other Web2, I guess. And for Web3 social to be 10 times better, because I think having a streamlined UX is table stakes, right? Like you expect to just log in with your email account or Google account or whatever and just like be in and, all of that. That's kind of basic. But for a 10x experience, what can Web3 bring for users that you can't see in Web2? I guess like to start what you were saying with Mask, having all of the your followers' content aggregated in one place. So yeah, that's great. What other sorts of experiences can Web3 bring to users that they can't really get in Web2?
To make it 10x better, or even like 20x, 100x better, I think one important thing is let's say the alternative algorithm recommendation system. So right now, there's a lot of people trying to do that. There's a lot of people trying to say, hey, based on data of Mira, Forecaster, Lens, Nostr, we can have better recommendation system. But the realistic way of thinking that is, no, you can't, because it's only 200K users. Based on this 200K, 300 users, you need an editor. You not need the AI recommendation system, right? So what's the solution here is you need to really connect to the Web2 data. You need to really connect to Web2 data and on-chain data. That's really interesting because on-chain data, if you look into, here's the latest number I just got from our tech team. From 2020 to today, it's around 2.5 years. World EVM chains is around like 90 million address that ever move something or ever do something. If you just accept like random shitcoin airdrop, you're not doing anything, right? So if you ever move something or sign a signature, you're counted in one of the 90 million addresses. And again, this 90 million address, 90
wow.
million address.
I wouldn't have said that.
It's a pretty good number, 2022 to today, 2.5 years. Unfortunately, that 90 million address, I think 1/3 of them is real. The other 2/3 are just like bots account or MEV or hackers, right? Scammers. Then like there's 30 million address, they generate a really large graph, not only social, but also finance, but also trading, but also people hating each other, like just like someone dumps something on top of the other people. That's, I think that's a chess box. That's important thing we should learn. So ideally when the user jump in using Twitter and somehow connect to a decentralized account, Ethereum, Solana, doesn't matter, Bitcoin, you have both of their Web2 data, Web2 social graph, which is, again, the user open that to you through Twitter API, through like posting something. And you have their on-chain data. And you have their Lens Forecaster, Blue Sky data as well. So the right way is to combine all three and do some AI learning stuff. And open source the way you do it and make it one of the alternative recommendation algorithms people can try. That will be not only 10 times better, that will be like 100 times better. Because if even like Facebook, let's say Facebook and TikTok, even they have the best engineers, they have best AI engineers, they're not gonna able to tell my friend is dumping on me, right? They're not gonna tell that my friend just dumped some meme coin on me and just bought it, and then like my friend having dinner with me right now is actually dumping another meme coin. And through the on-chain data, through the decentralized and centralized data combined, you can do that. And because it's mostly decentralized data, then you can open source most of it, and you can open source the model and the way you do it, and you still have like a way. Maybe this is NFT. You can practice in your timeline. This is like, again, think on the side like small crypto box. This is something I think we should do. We're doing a lot of things to we're gonna open that free API. Again, because the SaaS in this industry is very expensive. Most of the SaaS is quite expensive to do like experimental thing. We open up API.web3.bio for free. So anyone can look up Vitalik.eth, just connect to his Twitter account. We can open up some lookup API for articles, for long form articles, like Mirror, Paragraph, maybe even long form length articles. And we're probably going to pre-run some AI and LLM things so that you can query some of the data from our API. Again, it's free. The purpose is like, okay, then the developer can just think about their own way to do implementation. But then once that is out, it will be 10x better. But definitely we need a better UX and onboarding with like a wallet. And again, we admit that bot exists, try to eliminate them in a better way. Yeah, but we stay alternative and advanced AI recommendation. You'll see things that you're never able to see on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah, that will be very fun. Yeah.
Protocol 20 introduces Sorbonne, which is Stellar's cutting-edge smart contracts platform. This creates new surface area for innovation and provides new opportunities for developers to build protocols and products that create access to everyday financial services. So it means a gradual increase in transaction capacity and a chance to fine-tune applications. And it's the most transformative upgrade to the Stellar network to date. Woohoo!
Starting to wrap up, I want to get at this question that is probably at the core of Web3 social, which is ownership. And it's what, everyone who believes in Web3 pitches and gets excited about, right? It's individuals owning their own asset, owning their own data. But why should, mainstream user care about that when they are joining SocialFi? Why is it relevant for someone who's, who doesn't care that much about decentralization? Like what's in it for them if they're not into any of the ideology of decentralization or, or ownership? Why should they care?
Yeah, I think if you don't care too much about decentralization ideology, you're still going to benefit from day-to-day life. Like, can I walk in a bank and say, hey, this is my Twitter account. I got 2 million followers. Just give me 100 million, like 1 million loan for my house. No, because this is not your asset. Like per term and condition of Twitter or Facebook, this is actually the asset of the company, and they can take it away from you. They can take away the handle. They already did that. Elon did that, and Dapper did that. They can take away posts, right? They can delete the posts. They can remove all followers if they want. But in a decentralized world, even though you don't care about the ideologies, don't care about censorship. You don't care about like someone get deplatformized. That's a word that you can work, probably not into a bank right now, but you can work into a DeFi protocol that with pretty good UI UX say, oh, this is my Firefly account, connect to or Max account, connect to all my Twitter, TikTok, all the decentralized social thing all in one. And I will just put this here as a collateral. I want to just, bring 1 million to my house. And with the word of advanced AI, your AI agent can just post for you. Say, oh, okay, my AI agent can post for me. If something went wrong, the DeFi protocol can, liquidize my Twitter account because they can do it eventually. There was some AI agent able to buy your account and able to run it better. This is going to be happen. It's not that far away. It's pretty soon. I think like if you go back to 10 years ago when Bitcoin just started, when 10 years ago was like Ethereum just started, right? If you go back to 10 years ago, think about like we able to bring the big boy on the street to support Ethereum ETF, to shout out like tokenization asset, BlackRock. It's like a daydream 10 years ago. I think it's not going to be that long. Like 10 years later from now, a KOL can work in a bank but may connect to a DeFi protocol, say, oh, my TikTok account, please give me some money. And this is my AI agent. Bring it two together because, I may just, take 1 month out and my AI agent can work for you. That might be the future in 10 years. And I see that coming. Yeah.
So the idea is that if you own your data, if you own your digital assets, then obviously because you own it, you're able to monetize it. So in the future, you're going to be able to post your Twitter account as collateral to take a loan or take a mortgage.
Yeah, your account eventually work for you. Yeah. I mean, these assets eventually work for you, just like my housing just go up and down. It worked for me somehow. And it's going to happen in 10 years. Yeah.
And I know that we're coming up on time, but if you have 5 more minutes,
sure.
There's a kind of a somewhat different topic I wanted to ask you about, which is, you being a Chinese, I understand, and obviously, very much plugged into what's happening in the Asia side of crypto. Wanted to get your thoughts on whether the current SocialFi landscape is built for a global audience, or is it very Western focused? I mean, we've talked about the bot problem, but for regular users, do you think it's they're global dApps?
Yeah, I think it's very global. It's very global. Like again, the Twitter example, the Twitter as the Web2 example, like around 30 to 35 of users of Twitter are from Japan. If you're counting the VPN users, like as you know, like Chinese users are banned by firewall in like Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore. The overseas Chinese users, if you're counting the VPN, that they just use VPN to use other people's IP. So that will be around like 40-ish. I think around 40-ish of the whole Twitter real people content, not bots, are Asians. And again, Korean don't use Twitter. Korean use Facebook a lot. They don't use Twitter a lot. So if you really just, connect to Koreans, it will be like even larger. So I think SocialFi is not a Western thing or an Eastern thing. It's just a global thing. It's a human thing. People want to talk to each other for some reason. And, someone want to earn tips. Someone want to tip to others just for fun. People want to buy different things to show off. That's social. And people are born to social. This is like humanity.
No, yeah, of course, 100%. No, I was wondering if the current SocialFi dApps like Farcaster, Lens, Friendtech, if they were, catering for a global audience, or if they were still, focused on a more Western audience.
I think they're not ready for a global audience. Like, okay, how many of them have more than 3 language version? No. I think none of them have it, right? And it's okay just to do English version, but again, I just give the numbers that if you really count overseas Chinese and Koreans, like easily around half of the user of Twitter is actually Asian. It's quite large. So if you really don't do globalization and localization, they won't come to you because again. most people don't care about ideologies, and there's local providers can do better service, and there's the censorship level is different, and there's a lot of censorship. Like in certain Asian countries, there's a lot of censorship in certain topic in America, but again, in the rest of the place, they probably don't feel it. They probably don't need this kind of thing if you don't do localization well. On the other side, Telegram or Tone, right, it's related with Telegram, the blockchain layer one. It's not really social. It's layer one. It's like Solana, Telegram version of Solana, but it has so many different versions of translation. And if you really look into it, they have even open app. Like back in the days, I remember I'm one of the early Asian Telegram users. They have this like community call that you can really just ping drop directly, say, hey, can you add this language? And he's just going to respond to you very fast. So yeah, I will add this language in next week. Right now, just talk to any of the founder of these platforms, besides Lens, because Lens don't really have an official app. But if you think like Friendtech or the other things, talk to the founder in a community call. Say, hey, can you add Japanese? And then next week you won't get it. Yeah, that's the difference. I think we really need to learn from those, even Web2, from those very successful globalized product. Telegram is one. They really care about localization. Localization is not really just speaking English or doing party. It's not. It's a lot of like hard works.
Do you think it's likely then a truly global SocialFi network will come from the existing SocialFi dApps, or do you think it'll have to it'll be more local versions catering to each specific geography? Or like, in other words, will one dApp become global, or will it have to be just localized?
I think the application, the client, the UI UX of the client or the app in the App Store, it might be very localized. Just like we have Line, WeChat, Kakao, just China, Korean, Japanese, that's three apps, and they all win local market. In Vietnam, they have their own market, and India is using WhatsApp. Russian and other languages using Telegram, and Telegram is penetrating all the other countries as well. So from the app level, yeah, you might have very different things. But from protocol level, I think eventually someone is able to glue them together. I hope that one is like mask. We're able to glue all this protocol together. But if someone able to achieve that, we're also fine. We're really happy if someone able to achieve that. But the current situation is not right. The current situation is like, if you're the Solana game, you don't talk with the Ethereum game. The Ethereum game, even though they're doing a lot of the innovation, decentralized social, now, most of them have never tried Nostr, never really looked into design and why design that way. And again, Jet Dorsey wrote a lot of articles, and most of the Ethereum guys don't read them. And most of Bitcoin guys will never read the Vitalik blog. So that's painful. So I think, from the app level, from the application level, it will be a lot of different apps win different market, because that's the human nature. But from protocol level, a lot of those group protocols can able to glue them together. It's going to be like social Lego, just like manual Lego of DeFi. You don't need to really understand what's going on. Just one swap, a lot of DeFi underneath, and able to just swap it. The same thing when you click post a tweet or post an article, just a lot of things underneath, able to glue it and put it in a social Lego way. But that's my feedback. I think it's too early to say. SocialFi, that this terminology was invented by us. I mentioned last time during our Twitter space. We coined this SocialFi terminology in 2021. It's just like 3 years. And if you think about like the decentralized social idea, that like Matt Stam is a year from 2016. So yeah, it's too early.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome, Suji. This was fascinating chat. I love your honest view on SocialFi. I love getting some critical points of view. And I agree with this vision that so far Web3 Social has tried to, build decentralized social but they're still in kind of walled gardens, which is the exact thing that we're trying to kill. So I think it's important to take advantage of the composability of crypto and have something that actually makes money Legos out of these different social dApps. So, people can actually have the freedom of just following an account instead of having, different platforms to log in and out of. That's pretty much the same experience that we already have in Web2. Super interesting take, Suji. Thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. And hope the audience enjoy me as well. Yeah.